I have a real problem with this watch. I have to give it back. Hi and welcome to Last Watch. A few weeks ago I was contacted by a very nice gentleman called Matthias from Code41 Watches. Matthias asked if I would be interested in reviewing one of their watches. Of course, I said I'd love to. Now before we get started, I have to put my hands up here. This watch has been sent to me on loan and will be winging its way back to Switzerland after I post this video. Code41 are not paying me for this review. They will, however, pay me a commission for any watches that are bought using a link that they have provided. I will post that link in the video description below. There is currently a Christmas promotion running on their website which will give you a 15% discount off their watches. That promotion is due to expire on the 20th of December. Use my link after that date will still give you a 10% discount on their website. If you use the link to buy a watch, then we both benefit. If you don't, then I'm just grateful that you took the time to watch this video and would appreciate if you could hit that like button, and if you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel and leave a comment below. Now that's the formalities out the way, let's crack on with today's review. Code41 are a relatively new micro brand, but it's not a term that they like to use. They consider themselves a community project, so much so that they have gone as far as involving their customers with the creation of their watches and have even invited them through the doors to see behind the scenes of their watch production. The Code41 project was founded by Claudio D'Amore in 2016. Claudio had previously spent 10 years as a watch designer at Tag Heuer and Montblanc before deciding to create his own high-quality watch brand based in Lausanne in Switzerland. The whole ethos of the company is transparency, and that's not just because they make open heart and skeleton watches. They pride themselves on what they call total transparency of origin. They even have it branded on their dials under the acronym TTO. They currently have a watch in production, the X41, which they say when complete will provide high-end luxury and quality at a fraction of the price compared to other luxury brands. You can go on their website and see a total breakdown of where they are spending their money and sourcing their materials. I'm not sure if Rolex, Omega or Audemars Piguet would be that forthcoming. The X41 will be 90% Swiss made, but you won't see that anywhere on their dial, as they say the term Swiss made is somewhat misleading, pointing to the fact that many Swiss watch manufacturers have key production or components made in China. The watch I have today was their first undertaking, the Anomaly 01, a Kickstarter for the brand that gave them the funds to invest in future production of the 02 and the X41 project. They don't hide that this watch is made in China. That being so, is it any good? I asked Matthias to treat me like a normal customer. The experience you get should be similar to my own. Buying a watch is usually the end of the customer experience. You pay your cash, get your watch, job done. Not so with Code41. Before you're even allowed to make your purchase, you have to become a member of their community. Once you've signed up and bought your watch, you will be inundated with emails. They thank you for your purchase, inform you of the delivery time, and supply you with links to videos on what's in the box and how to set the watch up on its arrival. Pretty much a welcome pack to Code41. The Anomaly 01 turned up at my door within 3 days of its purchase and arrived in a very slim package. Contained within were two quite slim boxes, a small one containing the watch strap, the larger box containing my club membership, discount vouchers for me to hand out to potential customers, details of the 2-year guarantee, and in amongst all this quality cardboard, I found the actual watch, well presented and quite secure in a frame that reflects the design of the watch. The Anomaly comes in a choice of 4 different case finishes: stainless steel, which has 2 dial options, black and white, a black and brown PVD, and a premium forged carbon. You also have a choice of close to a dozen straps and bracelets. This would explain the individual boxes on delivery, but on the bright side, you get to enjoy building your own watch. A plus for me is that I get to give you the watch specs without the strap getting in the way. We have a diameter of 42mm, a lug-to-lug of 50mm, a case thickness of 13mm, a deceptive lug width of 28.8mm as the actual watch strap width is 23.8mm, pretty much 24. More on that in due course. The strap is 24mm, tapering to 22mm where it meets the deploying clasp. The case weighs in at 92.7 grams. The watch strap adds another 27 grams, bringing the total combined weight to 120 grams. This is the stainless steel version of the Anomaly with their black dial and a black calf leather strap, Apparently it's one of their best-selling combinations, no doubt helped by the fact that it's also one of their cheapest options. Let's take a closer look. We have a traditional 316L stainless steel cushion-shaped frame around a round bezel. The case finish is almost entirely brushed, vertically on its face and horizontally on its sides. The four curved edges that frame this watch give the appearance of sharpness around its outer perimeter. Although this is true with regards to the sides of the case, the transition of the satinized finish to the lugs is much softer to the touch. Its narrow lugs follow the symmetry of the case, staying on its outer edge, resulting in the watch having a disproportionate lug width. This has been offset somewhat by the addition of highly polished spacers. The spacers bring a nice highlight to the watch, but I would happily do without these in favour of a smaller lug width. We can see that the horizontal brushing on the side of the case has been segmented by a polished trapezoid groove. The edge of this tapers off towards the lugs. It's a clever bit of design, an optical illusion that makes the case look thinner than it actually is. That division line is also used to segment the watch between the lugs. The lugs drop down substantially in a forlorn attempt to wrap around your wrist. I'll come to that in due course. The end of the lugs are rounded and have what appear to be hex screws for the aforementioned spacers. On the right side of the case we have quite an attractive pull-out crown. The crown is tall and slim and sits a little proud of the case. Its perimeter has a diamond cut knurling with a polished rim on both its interior and exterior. The edge of the crown is brushed with an engraved 41. The back of the watch has a considerable case back, which is held in place by 4 pinch points by yet more sturdy looking hex screws. At its centre is an engraved Code41 logo. Around its perimeter we are reminded of the company's slogan, Total Transparency on Origin, and it informs us that this watch is an automatic with sapphire glass and has a 50-meter water resistance. Coming back to the face of the watch, we find the bezel, which is polished where it meets the case, with a sharp line to define the switch to brush metal and a slight inward bevel. Sitting atop this is an ever so slightly raised flat sapphire glass. The quality of the anti-reflective coating is pretty decent. Actually, it's better than decent, as seeing the dark dial beneath isn't an issue. I say dark dial because it's hard to call the dial black. There are very many variations of black, and this seems to reflect a fair few of them. Looking at the layout and construction of the dial, I'm reminded of the Penrose stairs, better known as the impossible staircase. I'll prompt you, they're the stairs that seem to go down, but as you travel around them, you end up back at the top of the staircase where you started. Or maybe a better explanation, and a more light-hearted one, would be like watching an episode of Scooby-Doo. You know, the one where they are hurtling through an underground mine in a mining cart and they inexplicably disappear off the screen and deny the laws of physics by reappearing at a higher level. That kind of sums up this dial's appearance. It is a watch on many levels and hidden depths. The chapter ring starts at the dial's highest point at the 12 o'clock position and has inverted kite-shaped cutouts at the 5-minute markers, which come to a halt at 20 past. It then reappears at a lower level just before 20 to the hour and disappears again just after 1:45. The bulk of this dial sits just under the initial chapter ring. The shape of this is very reminiscent of a skeletonized winding rotor. It even has cutouts to view the depths below. Around the outer edge of this rotor shape we have a white train track in a chapter ring which measures exactly 33 minutes, or more precisely from the 10 o'clock to the 4 o'clock position, as this is where the hour hand passes its time. We also have a white printed Code41 logo at the 11 o'clock position. The centre of this rotor houses the hands. The hands are part skeleton, polished black with inlaid tips of white painted loom. Yes, this watch has loom. That rail track also has loom. And don't hold your breath, but there's more to come. Something of note is that the hands are ever so slightly stepped, a necessity given the many layers to this dial. On the edge of this mimic rotor, to either side of the centre wheel, are 2 ultra-glossy black circles with a sharply printed red arrow. These are the centre pivots for the transparent floating subdials below. To the right we have small seconds, on the left 24 hours. Below this we have the very bottom of the dial, which is finished in a bold vertical Geneva stripe. This plays beautifully with the light to add even more dimension and character to its depths. Around its circular edge we have a fine white painted border with markers at the 5, 6, 8 and 9. This, like the rail track before, is also loomed. Just inside this border we find 2 more fixed painted red triangles pointing towards the subdials, a double whammy of clarity. At the bottom of the outer edge of the dial we see an engraved automatic and the company acronym TTO. Sitting to the left of this script is what looks like a support arm. Housed within its tip is a jewel, the centre point for the balance wheel below. This is where we finally get to see the open heart of the watch and a glimpse of the Miyota 82S7 movement. The 82S7 has a frequency of 3 Hz and a beat rate of 21,600 ticks per hour. It has 21 joules and a power reserve of 42 hours. It's an automatic that hacks and hand winds. It might be time for me to invest in a time grapher for the channel, but as far as I can tell, this watch is running at around 5 seconds fast per day, well within its stated tolerance of -20 to +40. If you're not happy with the Miyota movement, you could always opt for the Anomaly 02, which comes with a Swiss-made ETA 2824, albeit with a £120 increase in price. The leather strap is quite meaty, a very thick piece of Italian leather. It's quite stiff, and I haven't really had the opportunity to wear it in or soften it up in the short time it's been on my wrist. The red stitching complements the red arrows on the dial. I can see why this combination is a bestseller. You know I prefer my bracelets, but checking the Code41 website seems to indicate that the bracelet option has straight end links, which is a shame as I would much prefer curved end links on a watch of this quality. There is the benefit that third-party bracelets will fit quite easily provided you can find them at 24mm. That being the case, I would probably choose the perforated beige leather, which gives the watch a much more relaxed and dressy look. Whatever you choose, whether it's a bracelet or a strap, switching them shouldn't be an issue, as they all come with quick release spring bars. When I first saw pics of this watch, I had assumed that the polished spaces were a solid bar running through the strap. Alas, it's only a design element that gives the lugs an unneeded tooly appearance. Let me know your thoughts on this. Should they have put a solid bar in there, or just made the lug smaller to fit the spring bar? The strap is labelled on its interior with the Code41 logo and the words genuine leather. The strap comes with a satinized stainless steel deploying clasp. The buckle attachment is also satinized with an engraved Code41 logo. Typically, I didn't watch one of the many videos that Code41 had sent me, and it took me a minute to work out how to release and adjust the buckle for my wrist size. A simple hinge to make my life difficult. Totally my fault. Two things that I have noticed on wrist is that the keepers seem quite thin compared to the strap. Also, I found a little bit of discomfort from the double push button release, which has quite a sharp edge to it, even more so on its corners. A softer edge here would be much appreciated. My final thoughts? This is a statement piece. It's a watch that dares you to look at it and reveals fresh detail every time you do. It's quite unique as I don't have anything like this in my current collection. It's very refreshing to review something that I wouldn't normally have looked at, especially as I don't consider myself a fan of open heart watches. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. Give me a full skeleton or a display case back for when I want to see the guts of my watch, but cutting a small hole in a dial doesn't work for me. Saying that, the Anomaly has changed my perspective, because this watch isn't just about that open heart. There are so many other abstract design elements to entertain me. The build quality and finish are superb. I certainly can't knock it for attention to detail and its premium feel. Things that don't thrill me, well, the biggie is the overly large lug width and the sharp deploying push buttons on the clasp. Then there's that quite fat case back which makes the short lugs float above your wrist. The Lumi Bright is a nice touch, but not overly bright or long lasting. I think giving this watch a small rotating sub-dial is a clever design choice, as gauging the movement's accuracy is not that easy. If you want super accurate, then go elsewhere. This watch has some real wrist presence, it's pretty substantial, and the strap truly grasps your wrists. I wouldn't wear it for chores, but I can certainly see it being at home in the office environment, or for special occasions, or even a night out, though you may want to go semi-casual, as its bulk will struggle to slip under a cuff. The main issue for Code41 is that they are fighting for customers in a higher tier of the microbrand market. Once you get past that £500 threshold, you need to be producing something of real quality. The Anomaly ticks that box, but at £678 before any discounts, it's sitting alongside the likes of Baltic and NTH. That's some serious competition. I really appreciate that Code41 took the time to send me one of their watches. The Anomaly 01 is a beautiful piece of craftsmanship. Industrial design at its best. This is a mid-sized watch which sits well on my 7-inch wrist. If it was smaller, it would be an almost perfect dress watch. It deserves to be seen, and I'm puzzled as to why there hasn't been an abundance of reviews already on YouTube. Even more surprising when you consider that they have so many happy customers. It's almost like they've been running an underground campaign. Let's hope we get to see more from the brand in the months to come. If you're interested in any of the Code41 watches, then be sure to use the link in my description below and grab a discount while you can. There's a suggestion that Code41 may send the Anomaly 02 for me to have a look at. I should imagine that will come down to how they perceive my review and how popular this video is with you guys, so be sure as always to give it a like and leave a comment below. Well, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you for another video or two before Christmas. Now sadly, I need to box this little beauty up and post it back to Switzerland.